Now, I will explain about question 1 part A. For system A, the data given in initial outlay is 400,000. The EBIT is 20,000. The period is 4 years. The depreciation is 100,000. The tax is 30%. The discount rate is 16%. To calculate operating cash flow, we using the formula EBIT times 1 minus tax plus depreciation times tax. We put the data inside and we get the final answer is RM 16,000. After that, we generate the data inside this table. Table total project cash flow. In year 0, the initial outlay is 400,000. In year 1 until year 4, the cash flow is 16,000, consistently remain the same. So, the total project cash flow in year 0 is 400,000. In year 1 until year 4, the total project cash flow is 16,000 consistently. Next, we proceed to NPV. To calculate NPV, we using the formula cash flow times PVIFA, 16% discount rate, 4 years minus initial cost. After that, we put the data inside and we calculate the answer, which is negative RM 355,228.80. Then we calculate EAC. To calculate EAC, we're using the formula NPV over PVIFA, 16% discount rate, 4 years, and we get the answer, which is negative RM 126,949.04. Then we move on to system B. The initial outlay for system B is 600,000. The EBIT is 10,000. The period is 6 years. The depreciation is 100,000. The tax is 30%. The discount rate is 16%. To calculate OCF, we use the formula negative EBIT times 1 minus tax plus depreciation times tax. We put the data inside and we get the answer, which is RM 23,000. Then, we generate the data into this table. Table total project cash flow. In year 0, the initial outlay, which is 600,000. In year 1 until year 6, the cash flow is 23,000. Then, the total project cash flow in year 0 is 600,000. And in year 1 until year 6, the total project cash flow, which is remain the same, 23,000 for the value. Next, we continue it to the NPV. To NPV, the calculation is CF times PVIFA, 16% discount rate, 6 years minus initial cost. Then we put the data inside to get the answer, negative RM 515251.90. The EAC formula, which is NPV divided by PVIFA, 16% discount rate, 6 years, which is we get the answer, negative RM 139,835.51. Then we calculate both of this system already, we can compare it. After we compare, we can see that system A is more effective for techno-synergy BINTI. This is because the EAC for the system A is lesser than the EAC from the system B.
Okay, now I will explain for question 1 part 3. The given data is, initial outlay is 900,000, period is 5 years, which is the end. Depreciation is 180,000. Selling price 30 ringgit, variable cost 10 ringgit, fixed cost 200,000. The unit is 10,000, tax is 35%, and the discount rate is 10%. So first of all, we have to count the OCF. The formula for the OCF is like this: P minus variable cost times quantity minus fixed cost times 1 minus tax plus depreciation times tax. So when you put in all the data here inside, you get the OCF is 63,000. After this, For question 1B, Roman 2, he got given some new data, which is about NWC 30,000, salvage value 150,000, unit sold is equals to 12,000. So we will count the ATS fee. The ATS fee will be 97,500. After that, we have to calculate the new OCF. The new OCF, again, put all the data, you will get 89,000. After this, you have to put in the table like this. For the year 0, you have to put the initial outlay as negative 30,000 and the initial outlay negative 900,000. You get the total is 930,000. And then for year 1 until year 4, the cash flow will remain the same, which is 89,000. The total also the same, 89,000. For the year 5, you have to add the recovery NWC, 30,000, and the ATS fee, 97,500. So the total for year 5 is actually 260,500. After this table ends, you have to calculate the NPV. NPV, the formula is CF times PVIFA 10 and then 4. So this PVIFA will be 3.1699 plus CF, this is for year 5. Yeah, this is for year 5 times PVIF. The reason is using PVIF is because year 5 is the only one that has a different number. So the PVIF will be 0.6209, and then you have to minus the year 0, total for year 0. After that, you'll get negative 513,454.05. So due to it, because it is negative, the firm should not proceed with the project.
For the question 2, part A, we need to calculate the cost of equity before restructuring. The question stated that Lahora Sdn Bhd is currently an unleveraged company, means the capital structure is 100% equity with no debt. Therefore, the cost of equity RE is equal to WACC, which is 12%. Next, we move on to part B. We need to calculate the cost of equity after restructuring. The data given, which is RU equals to 12%, RD equals to 10%, tax equals to 30%, and the debt over equity equals to 0.4 over 0.6. The formula to calculate cost of equity after restructuring is equals to RU plus RU minus RD times D over E times 1 minus tax rate. Then we put the data inside, then after that we can get the cost of equity after restructuring is 12.93%. We move on to part C, the WACC after restructuring. We need to calculate it by using the WACC formula, which is E over V times RE plus D over V times RD times 1 minus tax rate. Then we put the data inside. After that, we can get the 10.56%. This is the WACC value. Next, we move on to the part E. The part E, we need to calculate the NPV of the proposed project. So the data given is the initial cost, which is 2 million, and the annual cash flow, which is 750,000. The WACC, which is 10.56%. The formula to calculate NPV is equal to annual cash flow divided by WACC minus initial cost. We summarize, we substitute the data inside, then after that we get the final value, which is 5102272.727. This is the value for the part D NPV. Next, we move on to the E, value of the firm without debt. Then you can get the data in the text, which is EBIT equals to 500,000, tax rate equals to 30%, the RE equals to 12%. The formula to calculate value of the firm without debt is equal to EBIT times 1 minus tax rate over RE. Then we substitute the data inside. Final answer we can get 8750000. That's all from question 2. For the question 3, we have the question given that the debt over equity is 1.5, the WACC is 10%, the tax rate is 30%. And the information also given that RD after tax is 7%. The debt over equity equals to 1.5, which is equals to 3 over 2. The debt is 3, the equity is 2, and the total value is 5. So we need to find out what is the RE. To calculate RE, we can use this formula. WACC equals to E over V times RE plus D over V times RD times 1 over tax. Then we start the data inside, which is 0.1 equals to 2 over 5 RE plus 3 over 5, 0.03, 0.07. Why this one is 0.07? Because RD after tax is already include tax. So we don't need to find out what is the 1 minus tax. Which means 0.07 we can totally put it inside. Then we use and we calculate together. Then the last we can get RE equals to 14.5%. That's all. Now I will explain about question 3, 8, part A, Roman 2. Now we need to find out what is the RD. To find out RD, the question given RE equals to 20%, WACC equals to 10%, the tax is equal to 30%, and we know that the debt is 3, the equity is 2, and the total value is 5. So we can use this formula. WACC equals to E over V times RE plus D over V times RD times 1 minus tax. Then we put the value inside. 0.1 equals to 2 over 5 times 0.2 plus 3 over 5 times RD times 1 minus 0.3. After that, we calculate it and we can find RD is equals to 0.04762, which is 4.76%.
This B, Roman 3, given that the WACC is 9.96%, RE is 18%, and RD is 9%, but we don't know the DE ratio is what, and the tax is given is 34%. To calculate the DE ratio, we are using the WACC formula, which is E divided by E plus D times RE plus D over E plus D times RD times 1 minus tax. So we insert the data into here, into the formula, and then we want to move the E plus D ratio to E plus D to here. So we need to times E plus D to cut these two, and then we, this so at here, the E plus D move to here already, and both 2 is already removed, and then we move we type 0.0996 into the E and D and show under here, and then we want to move all the D ratio to here, but the E ratio also move to here. So this show after the moving and pass the D, this for D and this for E, and then we want to move the E ratio to here. So I will using 0.0804 divided by 0.0402, and then I get the DE ratio is 2. For question 3b, Given that V is the issuances of bond, preferred stock, and common stock with total 8 million with a tax rate 30%. The maximum capital is 2 million of bond with 10 years of period. Market price is 1,200. Coupon rate is 9% and the flotation cost FC is 7%. And 2.5 million of preferred stock with a market price of 100 ringgit. D0 is 8.5 ringgit and the flotation cost is 3%. And the common stock is 3.5 million with a market price 16%, 60 ringgit. D0 is 3 ringgit, gold rate is 5% and the flotation cost is 4%. First, we need to find the WACC. RE is D1 divided by P0 plus G. D1 is D0 times 1 plus G. Then we insert all the numbers inside, then we will get RE is 0.246875 or 24.6875%. Next, we will calculate the RP before tax using the formula D divided by P. Then we insert the number inside, then we will get RP before tax is 0.085 or 8.5%. But we need to after tax. So we're using the number from here times 1 minus tax. And then we will get the number RP after tax is 0.0595 or 5.95%. Next, we will calculate the RD before tax using a formula interest rate, which is coupon rate times par value. The par value is 1,000 ringgit plus par value minus market price divided by number of period divide par value plus market price divided by 2. Then we insert a number inside, then we will get the RD before tax is 0.06363 or 6.3636%. Then we will calculate the RD after tax. We'll be using the number RD before tax times 1 minus tax. Then we will get RD after tax is 0.04454 or 4.4545%. Then we will calculate the WACC using the formula E divided by V times RE plus P divided by V times RP times 1 minus X plus D divided by V times RD times 1 minus X. Then we insert all the information before we do, and then we will get the WACC is 0.1377 or 13.77%.
Okay, I will continue with the question B, Roman 2 and 3. So, for the Roman 2, we have to find the WFC. And the formula is E over V times FE plus D over V times FD plus P over V times FP. So, we already have the data, which is this one. So, just put all the data inside and you will get the WFC equals to 4.4375%. So for Roman 3, they want to find the true cost of funds needed, which means we have to find the actual cost, AC. So the formula for it is project cost IO divided by 1 minus WFC. So the IO is 8 million divided by 1 minus 0.44375, and you'll get the actual cost is actually RM 8371484.63. That's all for question 3.
Question for Roman 1 is to calculate the NPV for the 3-case scenario, that is worst, best and best. The question has given the following data. The initial investment is 400,000, depreciation is 50,000 per year, the tax will be 28%, the period will be 8 years, and the interest rate will be 12%. The scenario will calculate within the plus minus 10%. So for the worst case scenario, is the scenario when everything goes worse, like economy downturn. That's why we estimate the profit will be lowest and the cost will be highest. And that's why we minus the 10% at the quantity and plus 10% at the cost. So for the best case scenario, is the current scenario is the scenario for the current situation of the company, and for the best case scenario is the scenario when everything is exceed the expectation. That's why we estimate the profit will be highest and the cost will be lowest. And that's why we plus 10% here for the quantity and minus 10% here for the cost. To calculate the NPV, we must first search for the OCF. So the formula for the OCF is given here. The price minus the fixed cost, variable cost times quantity minus the fixed cost times 1 minus the tax rate plus depreciation times the tax rate. For the first we calculate the NPV for the worst case scenario. So we will use this data from the worst case scenario and we will insert the data at the formula and we will get this. The price 100,000 minus the fixed cost, the variable cost 8800 times the quantity 112.50 minus the fixed cost 715,000 times with 1 minus the tax rate will be 0.28 times the depreciation, that is 50000 times the tax rate, that is 0.28, and we will get the OCF 59720. So we will calculate the NPV. We insert the OCF 59720 and we will search the factor from the PVIK table based on the 8-year period and 12% the required return. The reason we use the PVIK table because the cash flow will be constant for the 8 years. So 59720 will be times 4.9676 minus the initial investment 40000, and we will get negative RM negative 103,334.93. So the next we will calculate the best case scenario for NPV for the best case scenario. We will use the data from here, from the best case scenario, and we will insert to the formula. And for the OCF, we will get 147,200, and we will calculate the NPV. We will insert the OCF and the factor from the PVIK table and minus the initial investment, and the NPV for the best case we will get RM 331,230.72. And lastly is for NPV best case, we will use the data from here and we will insert to the formula here, and the OCF will be RM249080, and we will calculate the NPV. We will insert the OCF and the factor from PVIK table minus the initial investment, and we will get RM 837,329.81. Question for Roman 2 is to calculate the sensitivity analysis and compare with the base case scenario. So sensitivity analysis is to evaluate how changes in variable will affect the project NPV. So In this case, the change in variable will be price per unit. So we will estimate the price will increase by 10%, and the new price will be RM 11,000 per unit. So due to the increase of price, we must calculate the new OCF and new NPV. So the OCF, we will use the same data from the base case scenario, but we only change the price. We include the new price, and we will get the new OCF of RM237200, and we will calculate the new NPV. We insert the OCF and use the same factor from the PVIK table minus the initial investment, and the new NPV will get RM778314.72. And to calculate the sensitivity analysis, the formula will be the changes in NPV divided by changes in price. So we will insert the NPV here, 778314.72 minus the NPV from the base case scenario, that is 331,230.72 divided by the new price, that is 11,000, minus the price from the base case scenario, that is 10,000. So we will get RM447.084 per unit. So this indicates that if one unit increase in price, it will lead to an increase of RM447.084 in NPV. For question 4 Roman 3 is to calculate the accounting break-even level. Accounting break-even is to know which level of units sold is enough to generate revenue to cover the fixed cost and the variable cost. So the formula for accounting break-even is fixed cost plus depreciation divided by price minus variable cost. So here we will insert the data to the formula, and we will get 65000 for the fixed cost plus depreciation 50000 divided by the price 10000 minus 8000 for the variable cost, and we will get 57.5 unit. The company have to sell 57.5 unit in order to cover both of the fixed cost and the variable cost. The next is the degree of leverage. The formula for the degree of leverage is 1 plus fixed cost divided by depreciation. And then we will insert the data to the formula, and we will get 1 plus the fixed cost 65000 divided by the depreciation 50000, and the answer we will get 2.3. This indicates that if 1% increase in sale, it will lead to 2.3% increase in operating income. So we continue with question 4, Roman 4, that is define the stand-alone principle. Stand-alone principle assume that a project evaluates independently from the company other project. This is mean it is treated as the separate entity and evaluated by its own cash flow, its own risk, and its own performance. For example, Nike want to launch a new product, such as a hiking shoe. So, to know whether this project will bring profit or the value to the company without including the cost and the revenue for the Nike other product. So, to determine this, we will calculate the project NPV based on its own investment and cost, its IRR and its payback period, and if the NPV is positive and IRR meet the required return, so we will accept the project. If not, we will reject the project.
Okay.
For question 5a, we need to define what synergy means. The synergy refers to the economic gain that we will get from merging and acquisition, merging and acquiring a company. Question 5b, Roman 1, is to define the corporate charter. Corporate charter is a document of the company that outline a company structure, rules, and etc. In the context of the defensive tactic, the company may create a new rules to make the takeover hard for the acquiring firm. For example, company may make a new rules that if the acquiring company want to take over, they must have 100% of agreement of the shareholder. If not, they are not eligible to take over the company. For question 5b, Roman 2, is to define the golden parachute. Golden parachute is a term in executive employment contract that require the target firm to provide a financial incentive to the key shareholder in terms of takeover, merger, and acquisition. It is to protect the key shareholder, and it is also to discourage a wholesale takeover by increasing the cost of the acquiring the company. The last one, the Roman 3, is to define the white knight. The white knight is a company that is invited by the target company in order to take over the company, because the company is considered to be more favorable alternative than other company that want to acquire the target firm. Question 5c has given the following information of two companies: Sarawak, the acquiring company, which we label as company A, and Belisa, the target company, that is we label as company B. The market price for Sarawak will be 50, and the number of share will be 30,000. For Belisa, the market price will be 70.5, and the number of share will be 20,000. So Sarawak estimate the economic gain from the merger will be 100,000. So the synergy will be the 100,000. For question Roman 1 is to calculate the value of company B to company A. So the formula will be synergy plus value of company B. In order to calculate the value of company B, we must times the market price will be and the number of shares. So the synergy, that is 100,000 plus the value of the market price times number of shares, that is 350,000, and the answer will be 450,000. And for Roman 2, we must calculate the NPV if the company B can be acquired for RM20 ringgit per share. So the formula will be the value of company B to A minus the new value of company B. In order to calculate the new value of company B, the market price will be changed from 1750 to 20 ringgit. So the value of company B to A is 450,000 minus the new value of company B, and we will get RM 50,000 for the NPV. Question 5, Roman 3 requires us to search for the price per share of Sarawak after the acquisition. The first step, we need to find the VAB, that is the combined value of company A and company B. The formula for VAB is VA, that is value of company A, plus value of company B to A minus the cost of acquisition. To calculate the value of company A, we must time the market price of Sarawak with the number of shares. And we will get 1,500,000. And the value of company B to A, that is 450,000 minus the cost of acquisition, that is 400,000, and we will get 50,000 here. And the value of VAB will be 1,550,000. And next we will calculate the price per share for Sarawak, that is company A. The formula will be VAB divided by number of share of firm A, that is Sarawak. So VAB is 1,550,000 divided by the number of share, that is 30,000. Then we get RM 51.67 per share. That is the new price per share of Sarawak after the acquisition. Question 5, Roman 4 is required to calculate the NPV of the merger to Sarawak when it used an exchange of stock. So it have a few steps. The first step, we will need to calculate the new number of stock. There is cost of acquisition 20 times 20,000 divided by market price A, that is RM50. We will get the new number of stock of 8,000. The next step is to calculate the market price. The formula for market price is VAB, that is the combined value of company A and company B, divided by total number of stock. First we will calculate the VAB. The VAB is equal to the value of company A plus value of company B and plus synergy. So value of company A is 30,000 times 50 plus the value of company B 70.5 times 20,000 plus the synergy, that is 100,000, and we will get the total of VAB, that is RM 1,950,000. And we will insert the VAB into the market price formula. That is 1,950,000 divided by the total number of stock, the number of share of company A plus the new number of stock, and we will get the market price of RM 51.32 per share. And lastly, we will calculate the NPV. The formula for NPV is value B to A minus the new number of stock times the market price after the merger. So the value of B to A, that is 450,000 minus the new number of stock, that is 8,000 times the market price after the merger, that is 551.32 per per share, and we will get the NPV of RM 39440. Question 6, Roman 1, is to calculate the payback period for the two projects, book and famous. Payback period is when the project will recover its initial investment. So the first thing, we will calculate the book payback period. For book payback period, we just divided the initial investment with the cash flow because the cash flow is constant. So the initial investment is negative 160,000 divided by 50,000, we get 3.2 years for the book. So for the famous, to calculate its payback period, the period before the recovery plus with the initial investment minus the cumulative cash flow before the recovery divided by the cash flow after its recovery. So for the famous, we get 5 plus the initial investment 220,000 minus the cumulative cash flow before the recovery is 212,000 divided by the cash flow after the recovery 300,000, and we will get the payback period for the famous is 5.27 years. Next one, we will calculate the NPV for these two projects. The firstly, we will calculate the NPV for the book project. The formula for the NPV is cash flow CF times with the PVIFA minus the initial outlay. The reason why we use the PVIFA because the cash flow is constant throughout the period. So we insert the data to the formula. We will get 50,000 times with the factor from the PVIFA table 3.6048 minus with the initial outlay, that is 160,000, and the NPV for the book we will get RM 20240. So we will accept this project because its NPV is positive. So next one is NPV for famous project. The formula will be different due to the uneven cash flow of the famous project. So for the famous project, we will calculate period by period, and then with its factor from PVIF table. So for the year one, cash flow, we will get for the year one cash flow, that is 25000, and the factor is 0.8929 plus the second year 35000 with its factor that is 0.7972 plus the third year's 60000 times with the factor 0.7118 plus the fourth period, that is 54000 times with the factor 0.6355 and times with the 5 years, that is 38000, and times with the factor 0.5674 plus with the last year, that is the 6th year, 30000, and we times with the factor 0.566, and lastly we will minus the initial investment 220,000, and lastly we will get the NPV for the famous project. There is negative RM 55991.30. Due to the NPV is negative, we will reject the NPV. So next we will continue with the profitability index for the two projects. So we calculate the profitability index for the both first. The formula for the profitability index is 1 plus NPV divided by initial outlay. So we insert the data at the formula, and we will get 1 plus the NPV for the book, that is 20240 divided by the initial outlay, that is 160000, and we will get the profitability index for the book, that is 1.1265. So we will accept this because the profitability index is higher than 1. So move to the profitability index for the famous project. The formula is same. So we insert the data to the formula. So we will get 1 plus the NPV for the famous, that is negative 55991.3 divided by the initial outlay, that is 220000, and we will get the profitability index for famous, that is 0.7455, and because this is low than 1, so we reject this project. Okay, for question 6, we will continue to calculate IRR. So we will calculate IRR for book first. For IRR, we will calculate with the financial calculator. So we will show the step for financial calculator here. So the first step will be to press the button of the CF to key in and then key in the data for the CF. For CF0, we will key in the initial investment, that is negative 160000, and for the cash flow 1, we will key in 50,000, and so on until CF5. We also key in the same because the cash flow is constant. So next is we will press the NPV button and key in the interest rate, that is 12%, and we will press the button below to get to compute the NPV and to get 20238.81, and then we will press the IRR button and press the compute to get the IRR for the book, that is 16.99. Next we will compute the IRR for the famous project. So the step will be same. The first step, we press the CF button and key in the CF for the 0 period. There is the initial investment negative 220000, and for the CF1 we key in the 25000, and for the CF2 we will compute 35000, and so on. We will key in based on the period, and then for the CF6 we will key in the data, that is 3000, and we will key in. We will press the NPV button to key in the interest rate, that is 12%, and we will press down to search for the NPV, and to compute the NPV, we will get the NPV of negative 55990.84, and we will press the IRR button to and compute, and the IRR for the famous project will be 2.74%. Question 6 Roman 2 is to identify what project show a healthy growth invest between book project and famous project. To determine this, we identify the 4 factors of this project, that is payback period, NPV, IRR, and profitability index. The first one we will take a look at payback period. The payback period for book is 3.2 years. It identified that book will take 3.2 years to recover its initial investment, and for famous, it will take 5.2 years to recover its initial investment. So for payback period, book is the best. Next one, we will take a look at the NPV. The NPV for book is RM20240, and the NPV for famous is RM-55991.30. So for famous, it's negative, so it indicates the project will incur loss if they continue. So they should reject the famous, and they should accept the book. So next one is IRR. IRR for this project is 12%. So the IRR for book is 60.99. It is higher and good for the project, but if you take a look at famous IRR, that is 2.74. It lower than the required return, so we should reject this and we should accept the book one. So for probability index, the book is 1.13 and the famous is 0.75. For probability index, it should be over 1, because if it's under 1, it will not recover its initial investment. So we should accept this book and we should reject the famous. And overall of the 4 factors, we can see that the book project is the best project that Halton Group should invest in. For question 6b, we need to calculate the crossover rate. So to calculate the crossover rate, we must first identify the difference between the P and Q. So we must minus each of the period to get the difference. Since the crossover rate equal to IRR, so we use this data and key into our CF. So for crossover rate, we also will use the financial calculator. So I will explain the financial calculator step. For the so the first step, we press the CF button, that is cash flow button, and we will key in the data. For the cash flow 0, there is the difference of the 0 period, there is negative 300,000, and for the CF1 there is 100,000, and until the CF4 there is 100,000. Stay constant. The next one, we will press the NPV button to key in the interest rate, that is 12%, and we will press the down arrow button to compute the NPV, and the NPV will get 3734.93, and we will press the IRR button and press compute to get the IRR for this. because this IRR is equal to crossover rate. So the crossover rate or IRR equal to 12.59%.